Okay guys, our notes today are over relations, so go ahead, title your notes, and write our I can statement of I can display relations in various ways. We are continuing in Unit 4. We have not moved on to Unit 5 yet. This is our next section of Unit 4. So before we talk about the ways to display relations, we're going to define what that means. So a relation in mathematics can be defined as a set of ordered pairs. So go ahead and add this definition under your I can statement, a set of ordered pairs. And if we need a refresher on what an ordered pair is, those are those x, y values in parentheses that tell us where a point would be placed on a coordinate plane. So a relation is a set of ordered pairs. And we are going to talk about 4 ways to display those ordered pairs. So 4 ways to display that we're learning today. Four ways to display. The first one is just to list them out. And I'll show you what that list is going to need to look like. But our first way to display a relation is just to create a list. So number 1, list the set. So option 1 is to list. And how you write your list of ordered pairs is you have to place them in a grouping symbol. So if you cannot draw that symbol, you can use a bracket. Don't use parentheses, you can either use these or brackets. And then what we're going to do is just write the ordered pairs. So these are the ordered pairs we're really going to be working with today. First one, -1, 3. Second one, 0, 5. Third one, 1, 6. Fourth one, 3, -3. And lastly, 1, -1. So I just list those values, and then once I have them all listed out, I close with another grouping symbol. Again, if you can't draw this, brackets work perfectly well. If you notice, there's no real way that I listed those. I just listed them. It's not least to greatest for the x values, least to greatest for the y. I just listed the points, listed my ordered pairs. So that's the first way. The second way that we're going to learn to list our ordered pairs is with a table. So number 1, list, 2, table. And we've seen these tables before. 1 column or row would represent your x values, and 1 is going to represent our y values. And we're using those same points, and we're going to fill in our table. So my x values in tables have to go least to greatest. So when I'm doing a table display, I must write my x values least to greatest. So I'm going to look at my list, and the lowest x value I have is -1, followed by 0, followed by 1, then another 1, and then 3. And then I'm going to write their corresponding y values. So -1 goes with +3, 0 goes with 5, 1 goes with 6, then it goes with -1, and then our +3 goes with -3. So the really important piece here is that you make sure that your x values are least to greatest. That is a math rule, not a Miss Robinson rule. So we have lists, we have tables. Our third way we have also seen before, and that is to plot those points on a graph. So we have list, table, graph. None of this is really new to you, so we're going to move pretty quickly through this part. And for a graph, you guessed it, you would kind of go away. You would create a coordinate plane on your paper, with an x-axis, a y-axis, and then you would kind of create your intervals. So I know that my x-axis needs to go from -1 to +3. So I'm going to go -1, 1, 2, 3, trying to keep those evenly spaced. And then my y-axis needs to go from -3 to +6. So I'm going to start down here, 3, 2, 1, -3, -2, -1, +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we just plot those ordered pairs. So I'm going to go -1, +3, boom. 0, 5, 1, 6, 3, -3, and then 1, -1. So that's our third way to display a set of ordered pairs, is to graph them. The fourth way is where some new information comes in today. So the fourth way that we can display relations is using a strategy called mapping. Mapping is our fourth strategy, and this is our new information. You guys know how to create a list, you know how to create a table and a graph, but you've never really mapped before. So go ahead and follow along with me here. The first thing we're going to do is list our x values. Similar to a table, our x values must be listed least to greatest. But there's one other thing we need to remember. When you are mapping, you do not repeat numbers. Do not, underline not, repeat numbers. So my x values then, least to greatest, would be -1, 0, 1, and then 3. If you notice, I didn't include that second x value of 1 because I do not repeat numbers for mapping. Then we're going to draw a circle or an oval around our x values to kind of group them together. Then we create our y values following those same rules. So our y values are also going to be listed least to greatest, and I'm not going to repeat any values. So that's going to be -3, -1, 3, 5, and 6. And then I group those as well. So that's the first step of mapping, is just laying those in their two separate groups. Then what we're going to do is go through and map out which x values go with which y values. So -1 goes with +3, 0 goes with 5, +1 goes with -1, but it also goes to +6. So we're going to draw two arrows from that 1. That's why we do not repeat. We want to see how many y values an x goes with. So 1 goes to -1 and +6. Make sure from that +1 x value, we are going out with two arrows to those y values. And then finally, we have our 3 going to our -3. What you do with this mapping information then is create your domain and your range for the relation. So you've heard these words before, but let's review. So, domain describes all x values in a relation. So domain, all x values of a relation. And you follow the same rules as our mapping strategy. So I'm going to come down here. I identify it as my domain by writing a capital D, then a colon, then a grouping symbol, brackets or these, and then I list my x values least to greatest, no repeating. So -1, 0, 1, 3, close it with another grouping symbol. That's our domain. To represent our y values, I'm going to write the range. So domain represents all x values, range all y values of a relation. All y values of a relation. And we identify our range with a capital R, a colon, open your grouping symbol, and then write your y values least to greatest, no repeats. So -3, -1, 3, 5, 6, close with your grouping symbol. So the most important thing to remember about our domain and range is that they follow the same rules as our mapping. So let's write those in. It must be listed least to greatest and no repeating. Unlike our table, that applies to both the domain and the range. So that's the important thing with mapping. So those are our 4 ways to display. We have our list, our table, our graph, and mapping. So we are going to practice this in class tomorrow. Please make sure your notes look like mine. And then you're going to place these notes in your Unit 4 section of your binder, and we will do practice with this concept tomorrow in class. Thanks, have a great day, guys.